I dare to say I am.
Oh,
But we've never really had the opportunity to try. So
there's content.
there is content.
If you could choose any one member of talent to be the one taking penalties against you, who would you choose?
Because they're good at taking penalties? Or
It's your choice. You can say your reasoning if you want.
See, I would say Dez, because it's kind of funny to see him run.
He doesn't have to run that far for a penalty.
But it's I don't know if he's good at it. Yeah, this, as Medic said, he would trip over.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reason why.
I feel like Jesse would be a bit confused with the sport.
Yeah, but that's because he's from a different continent, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like if you say football, he's probably,
I couldn't
it's like
imagine
the Americans
Parker
thinking
doing
about
sports.
running it. Parker doing sports now.
Hey, we're in. We find ourselves on to bank. If you missed the first two maps, well, they were pretty hefty. The Twitch ban, I think, fair enough. We saw some pretty good Twitch play. We saw some pretty good use and utility throughout this. And, how it sort of caused problems for Astralis. All right, get rid of it. Pull that away. It's a good gun. It's a better gadget in some hands. And BDS are pretty good with it. When you're also wanting to play mirrors, when you're also wanting to play these stretches that they did on the previous map, and you're maybe thinking, oh, who's down here? Goyo, which we can already see the canisters of. Twitch is just powerful.
Yeah. That's it. Twitch just takes so much utility out so easily. Like, it's just a small drone zapping by, zapping gadgets, destroying them. And of course, like an evil eye is not easily destroyed, only if the bulletproof camera is open, for example. But you're talking electroclaws, ADSs, Goyo canisters, indeed the mirror windows. Those are all easily targeted by the Twitch drones and taken care of. So BDS not going to be able to use those. So instead, they choose the next best thing, and that is going to be the Flores, using those explosive drones. See what they can do. Remove some of the utility as well.
What Astralis are we going to get? I'm curious to see on the lead and on the defense, because on the second map, it was such a good performance. They were everywhere. They were causing problems. BDS could never really get themselves comfortable. They kept on being met by fights, and there were moments where BDS warmed up into it. I mean, of the 4 rounds, they got 3 of them were flawlesses. It was a very strange performance where it was kind of heavy-handed to that degree, and Astralis just kept on finding ways to, when it turned into a bit of a bloodbath, lock it out and win the last sort of engagements and trades.
Yeah, that's what they will be aiming for here, and that's the first. Spiff takes the initial kill. That's LMs off the board. It is going to be a Maverick gone as well. And that is certainly making it a bit harder to open up some of these hatches. You might be wondering why. It's because of the fact that Cade is on the board. There is no EMPs that could be used by BDS. And that means that these hatches that currently are electrified will stay closed unless the grenade lands right below them. Luckily though, the main 2 hatches are able to be opened up. But Brede can only really afford to open up one, as he needs to use a second exothermic onto the wall.
Well, they are steadying their hand towards blue. They don't entirely know that somebody's been forced out of there. They don't have the intel, and the hatch itself is locked, so there's no route through. They're not wasting time, but they're having to spend it because of the lack of some of the other bits of growth. Roll past the shield, there's the call that it's clear, and there's the movement right behind it. Renshiro making sure they can make up for some of the lost time and get eyes on towards the wall itself. They've only got limited resources. They've got to try and make sure it can catch and count. That's a fun Maestro bubble, buried just under the side of the trucks. They get an idea. The first fire canister pops as some of the attention's paid towards the hatch above.
Shaka's out there providing some support. He's going to be making sure no one is able to just step in on Astralis' side. The plant soon is looking to be put down. You see these RC Reterrors still coming down just to get rid of some of the utility pieces, flashbangs as well, so that means a push is coming down very soon. Grenades going through as well. Is Forrest in a good position to get these smokes down? A C4 as well is going to be dealing a lot of damage to Brede, but not enough to take him down.
Brede is shuffling into the plant. There's another smoke, and if that one's in range, Brede will get got, but he's not quite got. The bullets fly over the bow, but Shaiko, he wins it out. Forrest gets locked, and now the retake over the top. EFAC wins the first engagement. Iconic's going to see if he can step into the second. Hits the beepers will be the call to both players inside open where he is. Finds one, Shaiko with the trade out. And I said it's an important part of the game, but now they've lost one of the most, which is that vertical retake. It's a huge time sink and something you have to do. There's a pop on a fire canister. It puts the damage down onto them. Ranshiro rotates, ready for the engagement. That is thrown down towards the bottom of blue. The reveal of the barrel, the pre-fires, the angle. But from top to bottom, it's a BDS round.
A very simple take here, not taking more than they needed. You know, you get the open area, you open up the hatches, you take the server racks, open up the wall, you wait and bait the utility. And there you go, planting on the way. That C4 was a bit shorter. If the smoke was a bit shorter, Brede would have been taken down, and that would have been a round win potentially coming through. But what might have been is always the case. And now we head one floor up. We're not going to be repeating ourselves in the lockers. We're headed towards the open area. And there's multiple ways that we've seen this been played over this tournament and just in general over the year. So let's figure out how exactly Astralis is going to be setting this up. It looks like they're going to be reinforcing all 4 walls. There's not going to be a castle on the board which they could use to block off the double doors and other important doors to slow down the approach, which means that BDS does have the opportunity to bring pace if they so choose to. And if I'm quickly looking at the win percentages here, open area, 49% defensive win rate. It's the one that is literally just on the bounds of being attack-sided.
Fun.
It is fun. Numbers.
It puts a statement, but I think what I kind of want is map 1 BDS and map 2 Astralis. Is that too much to ask for?
Oh, you mean both against each other? It's like we already have map 1 BDS and map 2.
Yeah, how have you never heard that?
I've heard it, don't worry. So.
I am worried. Now I'm more worried.
Don't be worried. It's fine.
Over the top towards Kanto. Break open the corner, get your sightlines down the long corridor, and cut off rotates. Bank is a map that, when played bold, can be rotatable. It's not easy, but it's present. Talking of, eyes underneath. Do they know? Oh, now they do, and EFAC's not going to risk the fight. He had awareness of Iconic. That Goo-Mine gave Iconic awareness of the player. Good decision to pull back. Brede has the pings on the camera. Now Iconic knows he was being watched, and how long do you stick around? Not that long. EFAC's not going to risk it. Fair enough. It's a 1 versus 1 engagement. It's a 50-50, especially if the intel is now at that point in the favor of the Legion.
That was it. They had the ping. They knew exactly where it was. They went for the attempt. Got stuck by the Legion mine and thus had to pull off. So, you know, that's your opportunity gone. Still other opportunities to be gained. Shaiko already in Janitor. There's 2 rotations he can watch if there is just a little bit of pressure being put on any of the others. Might not even need it right there to just voluntarily walk right into him.
I just did not know. There was a little bit of a hole. He walked right into it with the pressure that had been put onto Kanto above. And Jano knows he's going to see if he can maybe step in the roll of the grenade to where he was before. Puts the pressure, and EFAC's walked into the opposite end. He's hoping somebody else would rotate their way back round. Spiff above, though, with the locked hatch, playing a bit of a do-or-die position. Gets the kick cold. Iconic has some of the cover onto Ranshiro. Where's the fight going to come from? Well, around the side, and it's scrappy. Shaiko does get the down, does get the confirmation, and can get the kit back, but EFAC, in the meantime, wants to try and cut his way through. The site itself suffers from the side, loses out in the end of it. J90 will get the confirm on the kill as Shaiko's still doing business, finds Iconic. It is blow for blow in separate areas. The grenade pings its way around the corner. They're going to try and hit beepers in the hatch potentially at the same time. Alems is tucked onto one side, but somebody else is tucked with him. BDS, how will you break on through?
This is like a default deadlock, right, that you're usually in. Both those players on those cubicles. Now they have rotated slightly to provide themselves a bit more security as a Razor Bloom, I believe, was about to explode near Shaiko again. He's going to be finding himself near the cubby, but someone just rotated in. J90 takes him down, leaves it only up to LMs right now. He picked up that diffuser. He's inside. Then Razor Bloom goes off. That lets them know he's currently inside. A plant is going to be attempted. Is there any reply coming through? Forrest should be, but he doesn't quite know where he is. He's not attempting any of the wall bangs either. He gets the kill, however, right after the plant and shuts him down.
I can't hear y'all. Dude, Alems is fucking elusive, bro. Listen, Dave, I think we're back server. He's just the hard server, bro.
I mean, you got to give credit there to J90. Huge player throughout the series, really. He just kept on moving to the right place for the right time. He was able to stop some of the bleeding. He read where the pressure was coming from and went, well, we need somebody's eyes here. And yeah, it's a team game. But a player like that in a situation like that, it's kind of the perfect response. What a piece. And we are back and forth.
Let's hope it stays like that for a very, very long time. Hopefully all the way to round 15. Just continuing to trade out these rounds to truly go down to the wire to figure out who takes this. Back to lockers, Astralis. As they have faith they're going to be able to do it this time around. And Mira gets brought. That is a big change compared to the last time we were here. Of course, nothing a Flores can do about said operator. And really, if you think about it, what does counter a Mira? Well, you could either go for smoke right in front of it, but that's just temporary. You could try and get some hard breach material on it and let it detonate, or you need a Twitch turret. That's really it. So all they have left on the side of BDS to deal with this would be an Ace or a Hibana. Now, they do have Hibana, so they do have the opportunity to try and fire out these Mira windows, but then they need to make sure that no one of Astralis can actually, you know, just shoot off those pallets easily.
I mean, that's it. I sort of talked about what can be run here when the Twitch is off the board. And Mira was one of the operators. Astralis bought a bit on Oregon and, you know, bringing a bit here. It's a sturdy gun. The quick pressure from the Flores drones over towards the top of Blue. Remember how much of a problem that became for BDS. Not a huge problem, but definitely slowed them down a good 30 seconds longer than they probably would have liked. And this is just allowing them to sort of cut it in half.
Let's get that drone forward quickly. Probably to put up some extra pressure towards Forrest. Actually, no, straight up to the side. Probably take out as many Goyo canisters as possible. There's none located on the actual site. It's of course due to the Mira window to be out there, as Iconic gets the very first. That's Shaiko taken care of. Astralis, they open up strong right here by taking down Shaiko, who over these last 2 rounds has 6 kills on the board. He's been carrying a lot of BDS's success here.
I mean, you think, you know, when we first saw this exact site on the first round, the first body was in a similar place. They rotate back from open. They're able to catch that opening engagement, pull them away. It was Alem's last time. And then they step back in BDS, the Shaiko getting control of the hatch. This time it's the other way around. So they've still got to do the work here. They've still got to be able to try and find some of that cover. Talking of, the pressure and the cover on the hatches starts to be broken open. They are a man disadvantage. They were last time. What's the change going to come through from Astralis at this point? The hatch gets open. They're going to stick around Blue a bit longer.
90 seconds. In the meantime, it's even 80. They're still around on the blue stairs. A smoke canister put up. Forrest playing that with a shotgun is not going to be fun to try and clear unless they use Vateros. Get shot out though. Flashbang to follow. Forrest forced to fall back through the fire and gets taken down. But Likafaka quickly jumps through the hatch.
I mean, it was a good idea from Forrest there. It's sort of, you know, a rock in a hard place, a fire or certain death. He chose fire, but unfortunately BDS chose to chase as well, and now they can play this juggling game. But with 50 seconds, Astralis have done a better job at wasting a bit of time. Renshiro finds Spiff with a great take, and they might try and get the vertical a little bit earlier. It's a 4 versus 3. The C4 is the first, doesn't get anybody. The second is still more than likely, and there's a third. There's one more. Also shot out. Shuttle will have one as well. He's gonna try and get the angle. He can't quite find it. He's running and rotating, caught from the hatch, but there's the planter stopped. There's EFAC biting back. Just Iconic, but BDS 2-1.
I was going to say, it's difficult to get the plan down with 3 C4s, but 2 of them tossed in, taken down instantly without not, you know, exploding. BDS, they had that advantage, they used it well, they got that cover and managed to, well, provide that support and win that round. Plan didn't go down this time, but doesn't always have to. That's still the focus of the round there. Headed towards Tellers, as open area is still currently locked. We're not headed towards the top floor yet. over this tournament so far. Tellers has been finding themselves played 12 times out of 129 rounds on bank, 60% win rate. So overall, pretty successful for defensive teams. The question is if it will stay that way.
BDS back and forth, and you know, it's bank. It does owe itself well to both these teams. It's the decider. We haven't seen a huge amount of deciders throughout this personally, but these two teams actually have. They've found themselves quite frequently slipping away to 3, especially Astralis, who I think have not had a clean series. Oh no, BDS even haven't had a clean series at all. Astralis have, they've had one, but this group, it's been quite scrappy.
Yeah, I think there's only been 2 clean series in this group so far, and that tells you everything you need to know.
They're used to it, and it's that even match level. It's that consistency of having big games, having bounce backs, and seeing where they can get into it.
One of those clean series was Cyclops.
Oh.
Yes, exactly. Now, it is going to be Claymore set up outside, just preparing for any jump outs that might be attempted by Astralis, as of course BDS is looking to set themselves up. Cheers player came in slightly misaligned there. It's just his chair. He is playing, don't worry.
Bomb located by attackers.
And it's Iconic just holding on, hoping to see any drones to come by. Doesn't quite happen yet. BDS just trying to get that first round. Still very wary about any of these potential runouts to come through.
Spiff leans back in, and this gun can be a battle axe through the heads of anyone in a direct line. You've just got to see if you can try and get the swing round. It hits hard and heavy. But how long can you sit there and survive? The wall off the side of stock will get popped open, or at least attempted to. They're watching with a bit of underneath. It's obviously electrified as well, with a slight swing around that Spiff is actually happy to take because he's moving out of the way of the threats of the grenades, rolling, cascading, and bouncing from multiple sides. Swings on the angle, but it's Forrest that opens it up, takes care of Alems. Shaiko tucked around close towards the double door as Bride finally finds the response. Forrest gone, Ranchero with a grenade out, and Spiff, that's 3 that he's moved out of the way of, suffers a huge amount of damage, finally gets put down, but with Iconic able to find EFAC on the trade out.
Instant trade coming through again, yes. And, you know, they were trying to find Spiff with the 3-man pinch and eventually lost 1 as a result of it. Quite unnecessary, but Shaiko finds himself a return as well. Brings it to a 2-on-3. Iconic is now forced to jump up one of these hatches to get back to the side. I believe that is going to be the blue one, I think. Or at least the one inside the servers. One of these 2 hatches that have been opened up just so he can get back in, or otherwise he's going to be headed towards the server stairs and see if he can come back up that way to put up some pressure, because Shaiko is knocking on the front door right here. If he's quick enough, well, Shaiko's already dead, so it doesn't really matter. He would have been able to provide some support.
I'm reloading.
Yeah, if he's quick enough, sort of turns into a moot point. If they're also quick too, 20 seconds, and they got to try and put a bit of a shift on now, the 2 versus 2. Some ability, some utility, and some usage left. They're dropping themselves close, but look at how they're tucked. Shuttle takes some damage, Iconic as well. They've got to lean into the fight. They're breakdancing for safety, but either side is French.
It's a French sandwich. We know, a baguette with some cheese in between.
Disagree, because what's bread in French?
Pain.
Lucca's CCTV is not going to be where we're going to go to actually next. It was, and then they swapped it off. Instead, I mean, well, where do you sort of go at this point? Let's go back to the site that we won. Open. They were toying with the idea of trying themselves down underneath, but they're going to see if they can at least get a second on, because if this next one falls away, I mean, I guess we'll see if they try and push themselves any further on before having a conversation.
Yeah, if they don't win this one now as well, it's starting to get, you know, a little bit dire for them, because suddenly you find yourself with a 4-1 on your defense on bank. Of course, you know, sometimes map leans more to defense, sometimes more to attack. This one is pretty close to 50-50. It's a 54% defensive win rate. That is now, you know, dropping as well as the rounds go on, as BDS currently has the majority of them. But you really want to get that second round in, because that's when you generally have yourself, you know, an okay kind of second half potentially coming up for you. If it's just one round, all you can really afford is just that one slip-up. And it's never really a nice feeling to go with. A lot of BDS stacked up out here. Seems like they might be going for a quick initial push. They're already in the side.
I mean, yeah, quick initial push and inside the side, ready to break on through. EFAC with the swing round onto the player. They're going to try and drive the kid into a touch corner and watch it from all different angles. Spiff gets Renshiro, though, and they get 2 more! Spiff goes huge, saves potentially the round. It's just Alems left. J90 is able to find EFAC off on the swing. Alems looks for one on the back, gets it. And with Iconic and J90 left to try and fight their way through. I mean, it's a huge ask here. They've got not a huge amount of health. This isn't an easy gun to take multiple engagements with off the back. It's accurate, but for only the 25 bullets you're offered. And that is Spiff's round.
That is Spiff's round. I was just going to say, like, they open up, they're inside 10 seconds in the round, and they already have side control on the first kill. And literally, as I wrote down the dot for the entry kill, it was a 3v2 in favor of Astralis at that point. So that's how quick it can go. Well done by Spiff. The rest of Astralis would just hold on there. And to find themselves that second round, that's that buffer we have been talking about. And now we're headed towards the lockers because, well, they don't really have the other choice of open area, considering they just won that. It's been locked now, and it will be locked up until OT. They can be happy with how that round played out because the amount of pace BDS brought and they took the side with, that could have been a recipe for success. It should have been. Let's put it up like that if it wasn't for Spiff.
I mean, that's it. That's what I entirely mean. Obviously, Astralis reacting and pulling themselves back around and getting that back in, but the triple kill, including the planer through the soft, in the middle of the site, it's like you're surrounded. And it's like, you know, what's that Darth Vader quote? All I see around me are dead fools.
I've watched Star Wars, don't worry, but
it's
I don't
not from the
know.
film.
Okay, then I don't know.
It's not from a film. I mean,
say, don't start this one because I have seen every single film.
3-2. Astralis, they're able to pull that one back. Can they get themselves the even half here before the turn of the half itself? If I said we weren't quite back down. The site before, and well, I guess open was a sort of blink and you missed it, but technically still a 100% success rate on it.
Yeah, I mean, and they won it twice. Nothing else we can say about that. Almost the second time the plan went down though, but that one was quickly denied. Shaiko with a Gemini replicator trying to gain some information there, maybe bait out some plays. Bit of
that's unfortunate.
I don't know what to say about that.
I mean,
okay, suppressors, so fair enough. You don't actually get to see the tracers, so just walk through and die. You didn't even see what was happening there.
You win some, you lose some. That's like the karmic cost balance of...
Yeah. It's like you save a round, but you have to give up your next.
Yeah. Either way, it's a boon, because how many times have we been on this site? How many times has it gone away from Astralis? Oh, both.
Yeah.
How many times had Astralis gotten the opening kill? Both, actually. So BDS, worryingly for Astralis, they're in a better position than they've been at this point. Both times they've attacked the site, they have a man advantage, and I wonder how Astralis are going to react, because maybe that might be a changing factor. They might see if they can be a little bit more dashing and daring and lean back against it. The breach on the hatch comes through.
They still have 3 C4s available to them.
They do?
They did last time as well, but those were shut out before they could actually explode. That's a big change we need to see for this round onwards. Renshiro is going to be on flank watch here. There's also a drone that is on standby. It seems like BDS is going to go for a bit of a split push. There is some rotation going around towards the garage, I believe. First player out there, C4 will be tossed out by J90. Shouldn't be finding anybody. No, he's actually not going to throw it. He's keeping it in pocket for now. And this way, Astralis is really spread out because everything is opened up. Like, where do you want to go for?
Warden, happy to play this game. The C4 a little bit premature, but it's hard to call and build behind when it's just sounds of echoes of blind. Shaiko suffers a bit. EFAC's fully not confident, and fair enough. He knows he's being watched. They need pressure elsewhere, but 30 seconds. They need it now. They take the drop. Iconic with the rotate as somebody else drops inside the side. It's a technical 5 versus 3 right now with guns up and pointing towards it. Garage has dropped. They're looking for the confirmation, and Lems wins out, and Bride wins out, and Iconic is all that's left. Cannot find it. And BDS get themselves the 4-2 half, ending on a flawless.
Again, winning lockers here, and you know the last 2 times they went for a very similar take. They open up, they go for a plan after they bait out the utility, and this time they were like, let's not try that for a 3rd time, because surely they've managed to find a way to stop that.
Yeah.
And now they went for that approach from every single side. But that's what you can do when you have that man advantage. You were talking about it. It's like they're in a better position right now than they were before. So what do? They open up all the hatches, and no longer all 3 of those operators can be focused at just the default plant, because they can be dropping from all these hatches at the same point now. And that's when you're facing multiple 1v1s, and that's when it just falls apart really quickly on an execute.
I mean, at this point, it's just a fight ahead. It's a game of 2 halves, and I want to see what Astralis can bring on their attack here against BDS's defense. As I said, there's good room, but we saw some really good Astralis attacks even on the previous map. They were short, they were sharp, they were to the point in the punch, and that can take a team like BDS by a bit of surprise. They're playing with Echo, they've got the Goyo and the smoke to try and buy time, but if you circumvent that with a bit of pace, then suddenly it might be in a different story. The Candelas are in pocket. They have the idea of pressure potentially on the back end, and there's no fancy spectacles to stop it.
No, this is more of a bit of a hands-off approach, though, that BDS is going for, right? Like, this basically everything this tells me is you can get inside, that's fine. We just, you know, first pop 1 fire canister, then we toss the C4, and then we, you know, get the yokais in the way. As you just mentioned, like, they're not going to be taking those fights early on in the round. They are here to, well, make sure that if they do, almost inevitably take control of the server room, have the opportunities to deal with the players.
Astralis starting across open, getting themselves a pretty standard approach. There's nothing loose from BDS to be caught at this moment in time, so Astralis is happy to get to work. Within the opening minute, 2 core hatches open, pressure down green, and angling themselves to anyone that might rotate up as Shaiko the Pulse goes and goes! Shuttle is out of the round. And one of the top-rated players of the tournament, Shaiko, is making sure he shows up when he needs to.
He knows about Spiff right now, onto the main stairs as well. 2 guns currently aimed in that direction. He's not going to be freely allowed to move downstairs. Currently no C4 to be tossed up that way. BDS a bit afraid of potential hatches to be used here, so they're quickly checking which have been opened up and which haven't been. 90 seconds. Drones coming through. Shaiko has been spotted out. Swaps over to his UMP. Grenade coming through as well. He needs to be moving out of that position.
Yep, and the fire canister will sort of double down on that idea. It buys them some time. The smokes come through. There's a bit of a blind on the back end. Alems, the first camera gets caught, and he almost does as well. Forrest, he's suffering damage inside the plant, but he's able to make sure he sticks. Actually, not enough to stop him. I thought he was caught in the smoke, but they just drifted on by. J90 watching from above, and that was a perfect pinned execute from Astralis. What's the retake here, BDS? The first is another kill there for Shaiko. J90 gets Renjiro. He drops in the sight because he knows they're coming up for him, so he's able to get a kill buried down. There's one more! J90 is tearing the vault up right now and brings it back to a 2 versus 2. Waits for the swing. Efak finds one. This could be all his round. He tucks in. There's barely any time. Bride kills Efak in the fire. And there is J90!
Holy shit, Jack! You are fucking nasty! Jack, you are nasty! Holy shit!
Dap me up, Jack. Dap me the fuck up after that shit, bro. That was some wicked shit right there. That was some wicked shit,
Dude,
bro.
that's what that plan
That's like the musical type shit, bro. That was the musical, bro. Oh my god.
That was the musical. J90 the musical coming out soon.
Where's the photoshopped poster?
Yeah, we need a Photoshop poster right now for J90 the musical.
Henry. The cube. Red cube.
Bring out the poster, do it. 15 minutes is what you give.
I mean,
What a clutch it was, though.
hell of a round. There's no 2 ways about it.
He dropped, he knew that they were coming from him. On top, you said it. He somehow gets 3 people in the matter of like 2 or 3 seconds. The remaining amount of fire still takes down Leakafak. If that wouldn't have happened, you know, again, I don't know what was going to happen, but it could have been a 2-on-1 fight at that point, because Shaika was chasing him down through the offices, through CCTV. Oh, just a bit too hasty there. But that brings it back to 4-3. Keeps us a little bit closer on the scoreline.
The execute was very well put together there. And although it was obviously a huge clutch round, you always have to include that as part of the story. He wouldn't have been able to have himself with the pressure if the kid hadn't been landed, the movement of the rest of Astralis there. However, with that noted, 2 of the 3 rounds that Astralis have got so far in this game have been off of huge plays from individual players. In my book, Spiff onto 1 to allow the team to move back in on the retake, and there we go, J90 off the second. Hopefully they build behind it. Iconic. He's being led on through. He's so close. Oh, and he's able to win it out. Shaiko just a step out of pace there, and Efak, he's holding on a bit on the hatch. He's dabbling. They've got more bullets in their gun, and he's aware of it. Alems does find Shuttle. They're inside underneath, and they're dropped out as well. Alems, with a very important double, stops them at the pass, and they're not going to throw anyone else into the French meat grinder at the bottom of the stairs.
Not quite sure what happened there. Probably they got that first entry. They knew someone else was up on the top floor, so they just decided to give it a go. Just go for it. Just make that push happen. But of course, LM's playing on that pulse, knew exactly that he was coming, able to reply to him. And that means that Spiff right now is also known. They know where he's going to be coming from. They know what is currently being watched as these heartbeats are being spotted out by LM's. Also aware of the fact that the main stairs for now is going to be clear. BDS have the opportunity to relax slightly for this round for now, because there's 80 seconds left. Astralis, well, they're burning through the fire for now, but at some point they need to get that diffuser down on the ground. Forrest, whilst running past, took a lot of damage there. Flashbangs are coming through, will be blinding. Lem's right there, but the player went up the stairs. It's Liquefact going up for a flank. He gets one before he gets shut down.
He went for the bold aggression there, and it puts them in the 3 versus 2. He was at least able to get one out. It's that bit of a risk, hoping to get them before they went for the blinds in the plant, throw a spanner in the works, and it worked. Forrest doesn't have a huge amount of health, and Spiff doesn't have a huge amount of utility left, but they are someone who can just repeat it. Caught out. The hatch is being watched, so instead they've got to go for a slightly different approach. Hey, that was red. There inside the elevator vault, there's the pings, there's the other. They know where both of them are, and there's only 40 seconds. There's no way out of this hatch. They have to try and push this way at this point. So you can hold off at least one of them. The other, I mean, unless they can do the biggest play, they're going to see if they can rotate slightly. Not very far. BDS, they bounce back.
The lock-off lockers on their second attempt.
Ils ont tué Chico. La note, elle a trop pué ça avec son
It's all about drops.
On fait la CEO avec Mira. On fait la CEO avec Mira, les gars.
Mira, yeah. Mira, exclamation mark drops, is that what they're saying?
I would be quel surpris.
I would be surprised as well. CEO coming through, top floor. Also something we haven't seen yet this game. Definitely see some spray throughs on this area, but not the actual bomb sites to be located here. And now the castle is being brought out. Is of course to reinforce and, you know, put up some new architecture for the office. Whilst, you know, some walls are being redesigned by Renshura right now. It's going to be closing of another door. Maybe he's trying to make it more feng shui. Is that how you say it? I think it is, right?
What?
Feng shui? You don't know?
Yeah, feng shui.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't know what that is?
Well, no, you didn't say it wrong, and
you just didn't hear it right.
Yeah.
It's okay. Anyway, as we push up to CEO, there's a big change coming in for the operators. It's mostly just reassignments, same operators, but different people carrying them. It's most likely due to, you know, how confident some people feel on attacking this site. On-set operators swapping around based on those roles. The thing is, you need to be quite afraid of any potential jump outs to come from this site. It often happens, and, you know, Sub BDS set up quite a lot of claymores. Didn't see any of that as of yet. There's 2 on the board for J90. But for now, it's only up to Iconic that's out here, so he's quite vulnerable, actually.
I mean, it's a window set that you cannot sit around on too much. It's an all-or-nothing send. That's always how it's sort of gone. Ooh, there's a catch onto that, and we have grenades to get the pinch. That should get popped open. You know, you can try and get the EMP around. just there, tucked in, perfectly demonstrated. The second will get the catch as well. The breach should get popped open if they've thrown the second claw high enough. Maybe it'll reactivate.
Now got broken by the first Selma, I believe. Oh, both are gone. That's unfortunate. So now stuck there in the elevators. Liquefact almost lost his life there, but somehow escapes with it as Solace. Iconic already in the teller's office. He's going to be trying to hold on. Liquefact is going to be aware of where he actually is. Actually sees his drone and the phone is being controlled from. So he's going to be like, can I potentially sneak around this? Gives it a little bit of a spot as well for the remainder of his team. They might be able to go for some help as Iconic takes a lot of damage. They definitely came in for some help.
That's it. You can see Forrest takes a big scrap and scrape as well. BDS, they're trying to circle back in, but there's Astralis on the back, and that shuttle pops in, gets two, gets locked down, but J9O's there to help punctuate it, and Brede is still working with the Vector until Spiff shows up. EFAC, he cannot get the connection. He's concerned about the pressure coming either side. Two quick guns and a grenade forcing him back up the stairs. No retreat, no surrender.
Let's go. Nice call, boys. Fucking beast. That was the wrong fucking window, bro.
No, I thought that's what you wanted to do. I was gonna fucking repel that.
I meant her, bro.
I'm going straight to archives, bro. I'm going straight to archives.
Dude, that shit was heinous.
I'm going straight to archives, bro.
Dude, this guy repelled into lower square, like, the window above. Dude, that shit, I was like, bro,
Just the confusion. Apparently not everything went according to plan.
I mean, it's so reassuring when, you know, you have even people playing at the highest level at the biggest tournament be like, yo,
this is not what we called,
but it worked.
but it worked out. You know, it makes me feel better about my ranked games when I didn't quite follow the push that was called. Sorry. As they were still successful, of course, that is a big part to, as you heard it, Shuttle, just walking in, getting that double kill, truly opening up the side and providing opportunity to the rest of Astralis to take the space and to take that successfully. We head towards the open area next, as the lockers is still closed down. BDS cannot go back down yet, so they are here chasing for a map point situation and a match point situation on the different side. Now, Brede is going to be closing up that double door. They're not going to have what they did themselves against Astralis. However, this Exploding Boy should be making quick work of that.
Yeah, it's a very easy wall to get popped open.
Or not.
Or not. Okay.
Maybe jumped a bit too early or pressed
Slightly faulty
trigger a bit too early.
Okay, I mean, the thing is, you'll often see teams break it just from breaking open the soft wall on the side as well. Gives you that little bit of extra width, but as they're trying to batten down the hatches, Astralis is applying the pressure on the top floor and trying to drown the site a bit. And on the opposite end of the windows as well, they're watching the rotate. A very important one to watch. Swinging up blue behind the side of this soft. They want to make sure that they can push their way across without the pressure coming from the middle. The throw of the EMPs, the break onto the wall. There's only so many places Brede can stand, and well, where he's going is elsewhere, but Alems with a swing stops them being rotate. Shuttle stops Shaiko after he gets the opener onto Forrest because he's inside the back end of sight, but Brede somehow wins it out once more. Pulls the head off of J9O, and Spiff inside gets the down, gets dropped. Brede doing huge work, leaving just Iconic in the 3 versus 1 with Alems still down. Probably won't get picked up, but actually he's crawling closer to safety.
So please pay attention to me.
It's like a risk.
I want to help. Yeah, of course it's a risk, and I don't think they're going to go for it. You might just be a living drone at this point.
I mean, it can turn a 2 versus... It can turn into a 2 versus 1.
Yeah, that's it. If Liquefact goes for it, you suddenly lose the entirety of the north side if they actually do... Okay, they're going for it.
But there's Iconic. Takes the drop at the same time, waited for the call, goes it. It's 3, 2, 1, go. Brede's tucked himself on the back end. There's a bit of a spray. There's EFAC, though. We are sitting on series point.
Series point, and we're headed down back towards the basement, I dare to say. We can't see it yet, but Brede. What a round that was from him. Just, you know, they opened up the wall, and he's like, well, I cannot really go back. So I'll just do it from here. Quickly listen in.
Yeah, take the floors and rip it up. We'll start with that and rubber. When you guys are around that, please change and make sure you guys are moving on with the For that backside pressure check, I'll be advised for this as well. So you can form pressure to the side for the what's going to happen around the anchor yet? Both of them around the anchor right there. I'll touch up while I've got some pressure. Read right here too. Take pressure on the other side. Make sure they're probably should take the game with the hardest track.
Very calm.
Yeah, very calm. There's
Very
not
calm
really
and
the hype, you know, that we get
It's-
from European teams a lot.
Well,
in their
I mean,
timeouts.
it's you know, different
More
coaches,
strategical, yeah.
different coaches, different coaching styles. There's more than one way to cook an egg.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying this is more strategical. Like, pick this for De Goyos, pick this, do this, maybe open up these hatches, rather than let's go, boys, we can kill them, we are better than
The
them.
thing,
that
the
we have
thing
from
that
others.
matters the most, and the metric at weighing up those sort of moments, is what happens after.
That's it. Do you find success after the tactical timeout?
That's
Yes, it was successful.
That's
Did
the
we
number.
need to?
That's the sort of graph. That's the chart of whose words have been able to get themselves some sweet success after they've had the conversations. It is an important part of it. It's an important sort of drive. To be fair, throughout the series, both times the two teams have done it, or well, the one time each team has done it, neither has found success immediately afterwards. So in this series, it would be the break from the mold for both teams if Astralis can pull this back.
Different lineup from BDS as well. We see the Maestro instead of the Echo for this basement site. It's a quick entry here from Shuttle to find himself in open area. Of course, those hatches are crucial to take under control. But I don't think anybody's currently watching his drone, so there might have just been Leak Effect rotating up slightly without Shuttle fully being aware. And as he starts opening up, the call's coming through. Leak Effect is going on a bit of a hunt right here as well. He's hoping to find that kill and the early entry.
Oh, do they know? They know! Shuttle watching and waiting and had the cover ready to go. It was a big risk there for EFAC. He wanted to sort of step in and break the mold on the back of it, but that allows them one extra body, Forest, inside the site. Picking the players, they can utilize those canisters and they'll start to get those popped off. Hold them at bay. Stop the move and come behind it because they know what Astralis can do. And that's often pace. There's still pings. There's still reads Shaiko on the pulse on the far end, hoping to get another catch, but it's Spiff that gets the next. Renshiro caught out the pulse, trying to fight the way up towards the blinds, but there it is, the engagement, the C4, it's caught out in Forest. They're getting that kit locked down, more blinds, post-blanc. Forest takes a little bit of damage going out the door, but the shield still stands. And a 5 versus 3 with a shield and with the fire buying now Astralis time. That is the longest 15 seconds you'll ever look at in this game.
And they're aware of the fact that someone is still above. Someone coming down from the main stairs as well. J9O looking to clean up. Gets one. Instantly falls back. Swapping over to the Type 89 before he shuts down a second. Leaves it only up to Alams. But it's a flawless round coming down from Astralis right after the tactical timeout. You mentioned it, to break that mold. Now they only need one more to push us through overtime. It's a do or die round. Again, upper bracket is at stake for this game. Whoever wins is going to be in that upper bracket, gets the extra life. Whoever loses is going down to the lower bracket.
It broke the mold, as you said, as I kind of had my eye on. They needed to take it, and they couldn't have done it any better. And to be fair, from what was the heroics of their first time down there to things falling apart on the second, that was clean and steady and everything going to plan. BDS. One round separates you from locking this out here, heading up to CEO.
Yeah.
Gonna double it down, not gonna try and run it away. And, well, when we were here before, it was a pretty good Astralis win.
Yeah, it was a win for Astralis, but maybe BDS have, they figured out, like, okay, this is exactly what went wrong. If we change that.
I mean, it left us with a 3 versus 1 and EFAC stuck on white stairs.
Yes, but wasn't it also like someone just, jumping in from the main stairs, getting that double kill, and basically ripping apart the entire defense of BDS? So,
it works.
That's kind of the thing. If they can prevent that from happening, it would be more of a deadlock right now.
Well, that's them to see if they can try and drive it. BDS Can you hold off one more time? Astralis will start the approach over from the big open lobby space. A little bit more softening has been done as the approach comes towards Kanto. It was popped open last time. It's an important step. And Alems, they were playing the Kaid and couldn't quite get the full catch. This time the Bandit. The difference, the pace against those Hibana pellets. If you can play against it, you should be able to get that broken down. That one is a missed throw, just misses the radius. And that'll get electrified and...
No.
That's the Cats.
2 gone. Yeah. One more Selma left. Kanto's still not opened up.
No. And they only have 2 of those EMP grenades left, so there's multiple ways to get this open, and one of them is including getting underneath, potentially lobbing a bit of damage and destruction, the flashes or some stuns over the top. J9O had an idea. Shaiko has one of his own. Swings on the top of stock and takes care of Spiff.
That's when it starts getting dangerous, because now it's a 5v4 BDS with a man advantage. Seems like there's some pressure coming down from stock, also from the top of square, but they'll just lean back in, and Impact used to get rid of the X-Kairos. That's the second kill to come through. Shaiko takes one more, and that means it's a 2-on-5 situation now. BDS on series point with 2 more to find.
There is the 4th for Shaiko. Only 1 left, and a Shaiko ace on the end of the flawless round to lock it out. We said at the start he was the top-rated player of the whole tournament coming into this engagement, and he sort of proved why at the end there. An ace, so close for Astralis, but unfortunately, boys aren't reaching the stars just yet.
I mean, how else to lock it off with that Shaiko ace? This is the reason, what you just saw there, why he has positions, areas named after him, because he likes being in a rough situation where he's being shot at from multiple different directions, just so he can play like that, take them down one by one. But